your week in wrestling. I'm Luke Janisko.
Casey Church.
And Dee Harris.
A lot of stuff going on as usual. Coming up for a pay-per-view. We'll get into it because we do have some awards to give out, as we said last episode.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Our own Dee Harris over here came up with all the awards and nominations. I'm excited because we haven't heard any of them yet. So
yeah, spring them on you guys.
Oh boy,
that's always the best part. Being surprised by them. So
you just don't know what's gonna happen. It's like pro wrestling.
well, not
exactly.
exactly like pro wrestling.
This will be a little bit better than what we see on TV. Hopefully. But we'll go over some of the things that happened on Raw and SmackDown, kind of gearing up for the pay-per-view this week, and then we'll just go straight into our awards.
Let's do it.
All right, well, start covering Raw. First off, Braun Strowman continued his dominant streak, defeating Curtis Axel. This brought Sami Zayn into the mix, demanding a match against Strowman at Roadblock. Zayn even threatened to leave the Raw brand if fully declined. This sets up Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn at WWE Roadblock on Sunday. Now, guys, what kind of fallout will we see from this matchup between Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn?
I don't think it's going to be like a massacre. It's not going to be a squash match or anything like that. You should get a good 10 minutes out of it. I don't see, as much as I think they want to put Sami Zayn over, I don't think a win is necessarily what he needs to do that. I think if he just goes in, never quits, even if you do like an Austin Bret Hart kind of thing where it's a case like a couple weeks ago when the match was called because he couldn't defend himself. If you had something like Sami Zayn keeps on fighting even though he's bleeding and doctors aren't clearing him, but he still keeps on going for him. He loses the match, sure, but he still gets over as a fighter and he can go ahead and move on to the next program, whatever that is. I can kind of see the program with Strowman ending here. Both get over. Strowman keeps on as a dominant heel. Sami Zayn keeps on as the plucky underdog, basically kind of turning him into Daniel Bryan at this point for obvious reasons. But I don't think Zayn's going to win at Roadblock, but I think he's definitely going to be the one that gets the most out of it, regardless of the outcome.
Well, I'm normally the most optimistic when it comes to stuff regarding wrestling, but not this time, because as much as I would like to see Sami Zayn win, first of all, I don't think he's going to. There will be a good showing from him in this match, but I don't think the storyline is going to lead anywhere. And this will also not be the last match between these two. It's going to be basically a repeat of what we've seen in the next few weeks, so I can get something else out of them for the following pay-per-view or whichever big Raw leads up into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
A couple things I wanted to mention about Raw, though. He had a match. Sami Zayn had a match against who? Jinder Mahal. He's back.
Yeah. No, he came back.
He's been back for a while.
Right,
he actually beat Heath Slater to get his contract.
Okay. Yeah, okay, because that was going to be my next question. Why is he not on SmackDown? We could get our three-man band reunion going,
They teased it. But I think, who was it that came out? Was it? It might have been Foley who said, well, the winner of this match gets a Raw contract, and it'll actually be you two competing or whatever, and it wound up being Jinder and Heath, and they were reunited in the ring. And as soon as he turned around, he got kicked. Referee slides in, rings the bell. 1, 2, 3, and the match is over with.
And we haven't seen Jinder since.
Yeah, that sounds about it. Is he a cruiserweight? I don't think he can't be 205.
No.
Anytime we've seen him, he's been losing. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least they gave him a decent showing. It wasn't a quick squash match on Raw. And they kind of did a shake the hands thing, I noticed at the beginning of the match. So it kind of gives me the hint that maybe they're treating him as like a tweener, jobbing character, not necessarily face or heel.
He's supposed to be like some kind of peacemaker gimmick they're trying to do.
Okay.
They only explained it once backstage. No, it wasn't backstage, in the ring for like 30 seconds. I don't know if they're doing Jinder Mahal. He's just there.
And that's another thing. Foley comes out after the match. They go to commercial. Then they come back. Foley's music's still playing. What happens in the arena while they do that?
Well, I'm not sure. When's the last time you've been to a WWE event?
2004.
Okay.
And that was a pay-per-view. That was Survivor Series.
Okay, this is what they do. When they go to commercial, if you're in the audience, you go to commercial too. So this is what happens. They'll play some promos and stuff on the Titantron.
Okay.
Or maybe before they do that, there'll be like 30 seconds of, the person in the ring on the microphone. and that's it. But you're still going to see basically not the actual commercials, but it's all WWE promos,
Right.
to last that whole commercial break. Now they're counting them down, and the announcers too, as they're getting ready to come back and all that stuff. So they'll pop the music back up, and then when they come back, it's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, the fans just sitting there twiddling their thumbs.
Waiting for the commercial.
Yep, that's exactly what's going on.
That or Foley takes a really long time to get to the ring.
They dim the lights and the ring and everything, so you
Oh.
have to focus on this. So your focus is going to be on the screen. So that's
So one of the wrestlers could get stabbed by someone and they wouldn't know. Figures. Okay.
don't give
As long as they
anybody
before they
any
come back.
ideas. We've had enough people.
Just clean out the blood. Right.
Yeah, with Sami Zayn, I think it's always been tricky since he even got called up, because he doesn't have like a clear gimmick or anything that anyone can latch onto. So I don't think the writers really have an idea of where to go with him.
And that's a problem I have with the writing too, because Dan O'Brien really didn't have a gimmick until he started doing the yes chants, and
Yeah.
that randomly got him over. So
Yeah, it's like they just want everyone to touch on something until they find something that gets them over, and then
the fans singing his theme music isn't enough.
At the same time, and that worked in NXT, so at the same time, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Bad guy, good guy. There's a quarrel. They fight. It's supposed to be a sport in the fictional world of WWE.
Yep.
It's a sport. So let them settle in the ring. That's what they're supposed to do. It's not rocket science. You don't have to have all this pyro and ballyhoo about it.
Yeah, look at Kevin Owens. He doesn't have a discernible gimmick either, other than that he likes to beat people up, and he's the Universal Champion. So obviously it can be done.
Yeah, it's just like, I think creative has no idea of how to get the fans behind anyone until the actual wrestler goes out there and does it himself, just like how Daniel Bryan did it. It's like WWE creative not being creative as usual.
They want you to like who they want you to like.
Yep.
That's what that is.
We'll move on to the New Day pulled double duty as they defeated the Club and Sheamus and Cesaro at the beginning of the show, and then faced off against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. The New Day officially cemented their legacy as the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions, surpassing Demolition. Was the New Day the tag team to set this new record?
I like the idea that it was a tag team that utilized the Freebird rule.
Mm.
I like that, and I really like the way the second match ended, because you had Xavier Woods, who's primarily the manager, as Kofi and Big E are the ones that do the matches, and he's with the trombone, cheering the fans up. The fact that he was actually in the match wrestling, and he was the one that got the pinfall, I actually really like that. So
He's also the freshest guy on the team.
Yeah, and I thought that was a good way to cement that it was certainly a team effort, and it wasn't just, Kofi and Big E going in week after week while Xavier Woods plays with his unicorn horn and horn, doing that every single week on the ringside. I didn't see the first match. I tuned into Raw late. I definitely really enjoyed the second match. I thought it went a little too long, but when you have a match of that kind of caliber, I understand it. I don't know if New Day was originally going to be the team that they wanted to do something like this, but I think they realized that they were heels when they became champions, and now they're arguably the biggest faces on Raw right now. The fans love them. And you mentioned it while we were getting everything ready, the whole Demolition thing and being involved in that WWE lawsuit. I think this was a message, sending to them is like, you may have a legacy in this business, and you may have a long-standing legacy that we will promote, no matter how the lawsuit goes, but we can always, quote-unquote, rewrite history in our own way.
Don't forget.
So,
even though it's not the same set of tag titles, but...
Yeah, that is true, because it was a merger between the World and WWE tag titles, and now
those are the WWE tag team titles. They did that. Demolition did that with the World tag team titles, even though the WWE tag team titles now the Raw tag team titles. So
my head hurts already.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's hard to keep track of, but it's not that hard.
Yeah, I think this was. I think that I don't think this was the team to necessarily do it, but I'm kind of glad it was the team that did. Simply because, as much as I wish Kofi was off doing his own thing as a singles competitor, I'm glad that we're with New Day. Big E definitely needs the help. He's still, in my opinion, the greenest out of the three. Mm-hmm. And Xavier, like I said, him actually getting involved wrestling a match, which we haven't seen him do that often, aside from the occasional singles match, and getting the pinfall to secure the win, I thought was a good way to end the show. So I definitely like the decision. in the sense that they're still champions and that they are the most over team on Raw. And I'm glad that the match went the way it did.
I agree. Let's move on from this match.
Okay.
I'm tired of the New Day. I'm sorry.
Oversaturation.
Yes.
I will say I did. Come on, D. You know you want to do it.
I am not joining into your tomfoolery.
The power of positivity, D. Come on.
I will say I did like the tease of how they successfully defended their championships at the beginning of the show, and I was convinced they were going to lose it by the end of the show. Like, I thought they were going to do the fake out, but I still like the New Day. I don't think I watch as hardcore as D does, so maybe that's one of the reasons. But I think New Day is the most over tag team on the current roster right now, so it makes sense that they're...
Yeah, that makes sense. Without a doubt they are, because... American Alpha and SmackDown, they've cooled off a little bit, so I wouldn't say that.
I think they have the potential.
Right.
They're not there yet. So I think if they're going to pick a tag team to do it, it was going to be the New Day. And I'm a fan of long reigns, championship
It
reigns.
makes it seem more realistic as it's supposed to be, instead of hot potatoing.
Yeah, and it definitely makes it when they eventually lose that much more shocking. It definitely puts the other team over the moon at that point.
And especially the tag teams that the New Day successfully defended at the main event, it definitely gives them even more credibility so that when they do lose them, it's just going to put whoever that new tag team is way over. So I'm happy the New Day is still tag team champions. I'm a big fan of Demolition, so I'm not very happy of their legacy being beaten, I guess, by the New Day, even though I do like them. But I'm not too upset that it was the New Day. If it was going to be a current tag team, it had to be the New Day.
Yep.
I actually think they should hold the belts a little bit longer to make it seem more like, okay, we didn't just have them hold the belts.
And then lose them as soon as they
just to break the record.
Yeah,
So,
definitely keep it on them until
right.
around WrestleMania season, and then either do a thing where they surpass it past WrestleMania, lose it at WrestleMania, or lose it at the Royal Rumble or something
why
to where
have
they
them
can win them back at WrestleMania.
Why have them drop the belts now? I mean, they've beaten every other tag team on the roster. Just do it at WrestleMania. I think at WrestleMania, every single belt on the roster should be on the line.
Yeah, that's how it used to be,
Yeah, even though half of it will be on the pre-show, but the pre-show is almost as long as the actual WrestleMania show these days, thanks to the network, so...
5-6 hours seems like.
The tag team titles have primarily been done on the pre-show the last couple of years
they need not to do that anymore. If you're going to have the show be that long, just start WrestleMania early. There doesn't need to be a pre-show. Yeah. If you're going to do a pre-show, that needs to strictly be the interview segments and the hype. Full of all the hype and the vignette packages.
Keep in mind, WrestleMania is still one of the pay-per-views that they actually have on pay-per-view, so this is a way to convince more people to sign up for the network. Sure, they lose a little bit of extra money, considering how they charge $60 for the pay-per-view for WrestleMania, but you'll have more people joining in, and you'll have people watching the 10-hour extravaganza that is the entire WrestleMania. Don't think they can fit all that on the Blu-ray, though. So
they'll try. All right.
It needs Blu-ray anymore. We have the network.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've bought a Blu-ray since. All right. As we saw the New Day break a record, we also saw continuing problems for best friends Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. Momentary bickering led to Jericho being pedigreed and then pinned. Could we be seeing these two officially part ways after Roadblock?
Yes, but I don't know who's going to come out. I don't want to say on top, but as the quote-unquote good guy, bad guy. Maybe if Jericho somehow costs Kevin Owens the Universal Championship, maybe that's a sign of a Kevin Owens face turn. And also, obviously they're going to come to blows come Royal Rumble or WrestleMania time anyway. A good way to get Jericho off screen for a while. I really don't know where they're going with this. It'll be interesting to find out, but to be honest, I'm just as intrigued as everyone else. I don't know where creative's going with this one, but I'm interested to find out.
I think we need to wait till the Royal Rumble to figure this one out, because we have to see how that whole thing's going to play out. That's one big thing that's like basically in the way of every storyline, because that involves both shows and pretty much the whole roster of both shows. So we have to wait for that whole thing to play out, and then because we're basically on the road to WrestleMania for real after that, so we'll have to see what goes on there.
Yeah, I'm going to guess if I had to say anything. As of right now, I think Jericho would turn face just because the fans are insanely into his whole list that I don't think
and
going to be
Kevin Owens gets so much heat off of Jericho.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too, because Jericho has mentioned on the record countless times that he doesn't like merchandise being sold while he's a heel, because he doesn't want people cheering for him as a heel.
Yeah.
But Stupid Idiot and the list has gotten so over the past couple months, they almost don't have a choice. So you can turn them face, go ahead and sell your t-shirts, sell your notebooks that say the list of Jericho on it at WWE shop. They'll sell like hotcakes even after Jericho's gone, because obviously this is where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
He's going to take some time off, tour Fosse, maybe have one more run come this time next year, and go from there. Because this WrestleMania is in Orlando, correct? I have a very strong feeling that next year's WrestleMania will be back up in Canada.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any proof of that. I don't know if there's been any rumors, but I see all the time, people bring signs saying Vancouver for WrestleMania, whatever.
Yeah.
Toronto obviously has the Sky Dome or Rogers Center, whatever they call it now. That's held WrestleManias before. It's big enough to hold another WrestleMania. Upgraded enough to hold another WrestleMania. I honestly do think that if Jericho's going to retire, it would probably be at WrestleMania north of the border. So I think that would be probably the best case scenario. So it's not going to be the last time we see Jericho when the storyline ends. He's obviously going to take some more time off. He's in his, mid-40s at this point?
He's like 45 now.
Yeah, so obviously he can't be going on forever. So I think the next run he's in WWE as a competitor is going to be his last one. And if he's going to retire, I honestly think it would have to be at WrestleMania in Canada. Whether he wins or loses, that would probably be his last run. That's what I'm hoping. That's my fantasy booker hat on. I really do hope, because I would love to see another WrestleMania up in Canada. They've had some great ones, 6 with Ultimate Warrior and Hogan.
Yeah.
What was it, 17 or 18? X8. It was X8 with Hogan
sure.
and The Rock. That was arguably one of the best ones they've ever had, and the crowd is always so alive in Canada. They have the best fans up there. I'm surprised they don't do more shows north of the border. They had Survivor Series a couple months ago, but that's been about it. The fact that you have a show in Canada, you have one of Canada's top stars there, and what could potentially be his last match, I think that would be perfect for it. So
yeah, and it's insane how over Jericho gets every time he comes back it's with something different.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see where it goes. I'm gonna guess I don't know for sure. Potentially Owens Jericho WrestleMania. I don't know if that's what they're gonna lead it to. Just because it's been such a giant build-up between the whole best friends.
I think if you do that, you're going to have to throw in Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins in a triple threat match for the Universal title. I don't think those two together could be enough to sell tickets. If you want to, I know the Universal title is only a few months old, but if you really want to sell that as a legitimate championship, you're going to have to really hype it up. And just having Owens versus Jericho at WrestleMania isn't going to be enough to put butts in seats. You're going to have to make it a triple threat or a fatal four-way match with some other established younger star in order to get that match over.
All right, we'll move on to WWE SmackDown, some of their highlights. New number 1 contenders were named for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships as the Hype Bros defeated American Alpha.
We called that one last
Yeah.
we called it.
The Vaudevillains, Heath Slater and Rhino, The Ascension, and Breezango. What will a Hype Bros Wyatt family feud have in store for us?
Okay, first of all, what the heck was Breezango wearing?
They're the fashion police, that's why.
Oh my god.
That is such an odd pairing. It's just like two guys in
I like the pairing. I think their wrestling styles and their gimmicks mesh well together. I like it.
I
think their theme music is terrible. Their combination theme music.
So they should just be coming out to Tyler's music flat out.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just, having them come out like Rico wearing, Village People policeman's outfits,
I just think Kevin Tyler
way to be a star there, guys. So
especially with the Cruiserweight division, I think Kevin Tyler Breeze in a thrown together tag team is
the waste of Tyler Breeze, especially since he worked so hard and for so long to make that character.
Yeah.
He was on the verge of getting released at one point.
Yeah, because we were talking about Cruiserweight division because they don't have anyone really to latch on to. But I mean, Xavier Woods can be in the Cruiserweight division. You can put Austin Aries in the cruiserweight division. You can put
Yep.
Tyler Breeze. You can put all those guys that are going to get over and get that championship over.
And considering how, I know their cruiserweight division is exclusive to Raw, but considering how most times they're going to be taping 205 Live right after SmackDown anyway.
Yeah, I don't understand the
Why can't you just make the cruiserweight division more or less, not necessarily, if you want to have cruiserweight division matches only on Raw, I understand that we can have the purple robes and have the Raw cruiserweight graphics and all that. But, why not have SmackDown guys wrestle on 205 Live? Why not have them compete for the Cruiserweight Championship and then be put on Raw temporarily until they lose it?
That should be a company-wide division, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But side note, as we were talking about the whole Zack Ryder hype bros, when Zack Ryder got hurt.
I heard. I saw a headline for this. What happened exactly?
He hurt his knee, and they're waiting on an update for his MRI. He had an MRI today.
Yeah, because if you look right after he won the match, he was wincing pretty badly, and then Mojo Rawley comes out,
Basically
obviously trying to celebrate, and he's like trying to
get
push
off,
him off, like I'm legitimately hurt, because he was grabbing the rope, trying to prop his knee up on the apron.
It might have been that Hurricane Rana to end the match that happened.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything serious. He might have just tweaked it.
I hope, because the knee is nothing to play with.
Yeah, obviously, Roadblock isn't on a SmackDown pay-per-view, so I'll have time to heal leading up to a potential match, whether it's, I think they hinted at last Raw or last SmackDown of the year, or the Royal Rumble, whatever it is. They may just push it back to the Royal Rumble if that's the case, but I don't think this is going to interfere too much. It's not like the Wyatt family's going to lose to the Hype Bros for the tag team titles.
Yeah, it's like their warm-up feud.
Yeah, this isn't going to go anywhere. It may lead into the next SmackDown pay-per-view after the Rumble.
It's just to get the Wyatts to Rumble.
A couple of wins.
Yeah, to get them to Rumble and Mania. We'll see what's going to go on from there with that. Because I believe Mania is probably going to have Orton and Bray Wyatt versus American Alpha, and I believe that's where they're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll move on to the SmackDown main event. Saw Dolph Ziggler officially named the #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship when he pinned Dean Ambrose in a 4-way matchup. Guys, what are your opinions on a wrestling musical chairs of sorts with the switching of feuds as we now see The Miz versus Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler?
First of all, let me correct you, because it's not the WWE World Heavyweight Championship anymore. It's just the WWE Championship.
It's the same thing.
And let me say, this is the rant that I wanted to talk about. What is WWE's reasoning for changing it to just the WWE Championship? Because at least when it was the World Championship, you could choose, do you want to be champion of the world or champion of the universe? Now it's like, do you want to be champion of the universe or the champion of a privately owned company? Because that's what it feels like, and that's the way it felt like when it was, the previous incarnations of the WWE Championship and the old Big Gold Belt World Heavyweight Championship, which was double odd because obviously the World Heavyweight Championship was the inferior belt compared to how it was booked to the WWE title. It says World Heavyweight Champion on the belt. Why can't you just call it the World title? Why do you keep changing the name? They tried to do this before the brand split, when it was just the WWE Championship. Then they introduced the Universal title. Then it was the World title again. And now they just took World out of it. Why can't you just keep the word World on the graphic? Are they allergic to the word?
It seems like WWE likes their championships to be less wordy. Because if you want to really get into it...
Okay, well, if that's the case, then you may as well just have WWE Championship Red versus WWE Championship Blue. Or take
Don't give
WWE,
any ideas.
Or take WWE off of the Universal title. Just call it the WWE title and the Universal title. Don't add WWE to the other belt.
I would have preferred that myself. That's a good point. But if you look...
Because at least...
If you look back, I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship was shortened to the World title at one point, didn't it?
Yeah.
Then that went back to being called the World Heavyweight Championship.
That was only because they kept putting it on Rey Mysterio, who's not a heavyweight.
The second time he had it, though, it was still called the World Heavyweight Championship, though. So I'm not sure exactly if that's why, but the WWE title has always pretty much been a WWE Championship. And I guess they confused people when it was called the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Then it was
still the World Heavyweight Championship before the Attitude Era, though. Yeah. That's when it started.
But I think it being a World Heavyweight title goes without saying, period. It's a world title. I mean, even the Intercontinental title was once called the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, the United States title, the United States Heavyweight Championship. They just cut it to U.S. title and IC title.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It just, at least for me, and keep in mind, I look at everyone as if they're an idiot. Okay, okay, I'm like a Bobby Heenan type guy. Okay, everyone else is an idiot unless I get to know them. So when people who are outside the company, they hear that one show has a Universal Champion and one show has a WWE Champion. I'm thinking that guy's the champion of the entire universe, and that guy's the champion of just the company. That's what it feels like. At least, and if you want to make that argument that world is obviously less than universe, you can at least make the argument that he can be the champion of the world or the champion of the entire wrestling fan base, which definitely has a little bit of a different connotation as well.
Yeah.
I just don't, when I saw that, I thought they would just, during Miz TV, I thought they were just saying, WWE champion, just talking out, not having instructions, forgetting to add the world title. But I go on WWE.com and they've taken world out of that.
Oh,
it's just the WWE Championship now, and I don't understand why.
Hey, it could be worse. I mean, if you look at one of the video games from a couple years ago, it could be the Champion of Champions Championship.
I like that belt, though. I like that belt. Anyway,
you know how redundant that sounds?
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. And if we had a third brand, or even if they decide to do it with NXT, that could be an idea for a future storyline. So don't give them any ideas. But onto the match at hand. We were talking last week. We didn't know where Dolph Ziggler was going to go from his fight with The Miz, and apparently he's going to go straight to the top.
Hot-shotted straight to the world.
And it's not like I'm expecting. And I don't know if they
feel a throwaway SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna lead into anything big. Like, I don't know if they're gonna have Dolph be a transitional champion, like they're actually gonna take the belt off of AJ in favor of Dolph, or if this is gonna lead into a Royal Rumble feud, because I believe they said that the match was for the last SmackDown of the year.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So 2 weeks from now. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'll always root for a Northeast Ohio guy, whether it's Miz or Ziggler. So obviously, as much as I love AJ Styles, I'm obviously going to be pulling for Ziggler on this. I just hope they don't pull the rug straight from under him. They definitely, if he's going to lose this feud, which I think he is, even if they have a rematch at the Rumble, he's going to probably lose the feud.
Yeah.
Even if he wins the title against AJ, he'll lose it back to him at the Rumble. I just hope they don't pull the rug from under him and have him go to the mid-card, which was my fear last week when he lost, the IC feud with The Miz. I really hope that, they can find something to do with him, once this is over. But I really don't think he's going to be champion for long term if he gets it at all.
I think I figured out what they're going to do. Now, as much as WWE loves to do this, especially since this isn't a pay-per-view, they're going to have Miz. Oh my gosh, I said The Miz. Oh gosh, they're going to have Dolph Ziggler.
You're a big fan.
Don't get me started. They're going to have Dolph have a really good showing against AJ. Come within a hair of winning the championship, and then AJ will do something like, I don't know, get himself counted out, or take a DQ, or just walk away from the match, something like that. They'll have the rematch at the Rumble, so they'll have something on the roster for SmackDown, because the Rumble can't be the only match on the card, so they're going to have something. So I think Dolph will face AJ there, and that's where he'll lose. And then I think they'll set up maybe a match between Taker and Styles after that. That would make sense. Because, we've seen it before. I forgot what year this was. It may have been 2009. CM Punk and Jeff Hardy had their last match. I think it was a ladder match. I don't know. There's so many ladder matches that year. I don't even remember. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's when they were still not quite PG yet, or had just switched, but still wasn't going the full kiddie route yet. So
they had Jeff Hardy, who had just lost the match, laid out on the mat. CM Punk standing over the top of him. Lights go out. It's not Jeff Hardy anymore. It's the Undertaker.
Yep.
Sits up. There's your next feud. And I think that's what's going to happen.
That would be interesting to see. The only other thing that I can see for Ziggler after this is maybe a heel turn, but I don't know if it's going to be like that gradual in a way. Like maybe he's sick of losing, sick of being, just 1 inch away from winning these championships and starts to snap a little bit. But again, even if they do that, I'm worried he's just going to get lost in the shuffle because
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, SmackDown's a 3-hour show like Raw. You know,
Yeah.
it's very easy to get lost in the mid-card, as evidenced with guys like Breezango and The Ascension. And The Ascension was the top team in NXT. What happened to them?
I don't even
They
know.
got buried, and what I remember how they got buried, because this really, really hurt them, and it wasn't even a match, it was just how it hurt them in the perception of the fans. They were out there on Raw. First of all, their vignettes didn't help them at all.
Oh God, those horrible
because-
80s style vignettes. They
'cause
still do them.
Because they did not let them be themselves, which they were in NXT. That's what got them to be the badasses they were. They were themselves. They were just a Smash Mouth tag team. They had them try to be like Demolition / the Road Warriors in those promos. And then, during a segment with, I believe it was Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and there's maybe one or two other people out there. I don't
The
remember.
NWO thing, yeah.
Yeah. That buried those guys.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they got beat up after they got verbally buried, and that hurt them, and they started losing matches almost every week after that happened. I remember the exact pinpoint, the exact point where that happened.
The moment where a career dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I think the Ascension and NXT versus Wyatt family would be a money feud right now.
Oh,
If-
by the way, Connor getting suspended didn't help them either.
yeah. Yep. That's as
Victor
far
was
as
a
they're-
member of the Social Outcast for a second there.
Yeah, for the house shows, yeah.
But I think, getting back to Ziggler, I think honestly he's more of a transitional opponent. I think
Yeah.
that's why it's a throwaway SmackDown. I think they need some a good mechanic, so to say, to go against AJ Styles. And I think he will make it to the Rumble again. It would make sense for him to end up turning heel, but again, there's so many heels on SmackDown right now
Yeah.
that I don't know what there would be to do for him, because I can't think of a viable face for him other than Dean Ambrose, but we had already seen that feud, and I don't think...
Yeah, that's when he was a transitional opponent for Ambrose.
Yeah.
That was just to get Ambrose to Styles.
Yep, so I don't know what would be next for Ziggler if he didn't win the championship. I don't think he's going to, so I really don't know where they're going to book him after the Rumble, because I don't know...
What I think is going to happen, this is again being fantasy booker mode, if he's going to win at any point, he'll win the SmackDown at the end of the year, lose it immediately back to Styles, either the next SmackDown or at the Royal Rumble, lose another match to Styles as sort of the Rebel match at the next SmackDown pay-per-view, whatever it is, and then Styles can go on to whoever his WrestleMania opponent is going to be, whether it be Undertaker, it be Cena, whoever. But that's the only way I see him, getting, anything out of it. I don't know what's going to happen afterwards, though, because obviously, even if he wins the title, he's only going to hold it for a week or more.
Yeah.
That's it. He's not going to keep it for a long period of time. He'll keep it for at most 2-3 weeks to the next pay-per-view, then drop it back to Styles, lose to Styles again in a rubber match, and go from there. I don't think they can throw him back in the IC feud. Whoever's the champion at that point, whether it's Miz, it's Ambrose, it's whoever, simply because he's been dangled that carrot and didn't grab hold of it.
Yeah.
At least in the eyes of the fans. So, yeah, the only thing I can see is that maybe, after WrestleMania they have another draft lottery and he goes to Raw
Yeah,
and
that's the only
finds
thing I
something
can see
else.
for
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That the only way that he's gonna be able to bounce back with any kind of feud is if he goes to Raw. So that's about it.
All right, well, that's it for the highlights for this week. We do have pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, WWE Roadblock. So next...
Roadblock, end of the line.
Oh, end of the line. I apologize.
That's just as bad when they had tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. I was
Yeah,
there
all
for
the
that
time.
one.
Oh my god.
Next week, we'll be here with the fallout for WWE Roadblock, end of the line.
Weather permissible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
We'll see
snowed
what
in.
the Ohio weather. But make sure you check out next week for the official fallout. And that was your week in wrestling.